Welcome to Photo Finds. I am your host, Kevin Yee, and in case my name or perhaps my voice are familiar, that's because I was the original host of Photo Finds back when it first started several years ago. I stopped doing it around 2013 and went on to do other things, including publish some books, as you can see here, but I'm glad to be back with you, and thank you for having me back. Now, normally I'd be bringing you pictures and updates from around Orlando, but it turns out that I'm showing you some things outside of Orlando because that's how I spent my summer. I went up and down the coast, the East Coast that is, looking at amusement parks and roller coasters and riding on world-famous attractions and the world's tallest roller coaster, King Ka, which you can see here, all of which means that I'm going to be showing you some things at the theme parks that were new to me when I got back. Some of them may have been there for a little while by the time you saw them. So let's look at this one here first. We're starting off at Universal Studios, and this is the main area where you do bag check. And just behind me as I take this picture is the bag check. This entire facility is brand new. It is something they've added just to give you another option for coffee and snacks before you go into the parks. Now, speaking of bag checks, we're switching over to the Magic Kingdom, or more accurately, the Transportation and Ticket Center. And as you can see, the former bus and tram stop, this is the tram stop actually, is now where you do bag check for the Magic Kingdom and the TTC. All of which means that there's no bag check over at the Magic Kingdom itself. It's kind of nice just to walk right in these days. Now, inside the Magic Kingdom, we'll see some refurbishment walls. This is Sir Mickey undergoing an annual refurbishment. A little unusual to do that in the summertime, but it's not such a big deal. Over at Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, and I really don't know how many months this has been there, there's something of a safety show now in an overhead monitor just before you get onto the attraction. So this animation was new to me, at least. Over at Pinocchio Village House, we saw a sign for mobile order pickup. Now, this is where you use your cell phone, of course, and then you just show up after it buzzes you and you go pick up your food. There's basically the same thing over at Columbia Harbor House, and it looked like it was really convenient for the people who were using it. I didn't think to do it in time. Another Adventureland construction wall. And then we're going to switch over to Tomorrowland, where I ran into this guy. He's a bit of a replacement for the Push, if you remember the Push robot. Now, Push was controlled by a handler, and this guy seems to be off on his own, which is to say he's, I think, a man in a suit riding a Segway. At least that's how he moved around. Now, this picture to me really epitomizes what Photo Finds is all about. We notice things in the parks week after week that are just new to us. So in this case, it's the restroom sign, which wasn't there a couple of months ago when I left on my summer vacation. So new to me, at least. We're switching over to Disney's Hollywood Studios, where the trenches might lead one to make some sort of Star Wars joke. But in this case, we're going to actually go beyond that and look at the actual Star Wars construction. Now, off to our left side, we see this building, which I don't know anything about because I have not been watching the spoilers. Around the other side, now inside the park, we're looking at the entrance to what I think is going to be Pixar Place. Over to our right is One Man's Dream and the former Meet Jack Sparrow studio. And straight ahead, I think, is going to be our entrance into the Toy Story area. And as you can see, they've given some decorations to this Pixar expansion. Now, to the left of that, down Pixar Place, is another view of the Star Wars construction. A little zoomed in this case, you can see that we're looking over the wall. Just to the right of me, as I take this picture, is Cruz Ramirez. Now, this is a meet and greet from Cars 3. As you can see, it's at the exit to the expansion of the Toy Story Midway Mania ride. Back over by Muppet Vision, we see that the entire area at the front has totally changed. There used to be a balloon out here, different signage. So Muppet Vision is now part of Grand Avenue. You can see this Grand Arts here, Grand Arts Theatre. They've renamed the entire area Grand Avenue and will soon replace the coffee shop around the corner from here with a pub. Now, also new inside Muppet Vision is this setup. It's got Kermit the Frog's tuxedo and a signed picture of him, I guess. This is at the very front of the waiting area. So off to the right here are going to be the doors to go into the theater itself. New to me is this banner behind the Star Wars launch bay. It was not there the last time I was here, even though the rest of the launch bay had been open for some time. We're switching now to SeaWorld, where, as you can see out front, they've taken their characters, such as people might recognize them, Puck especially maybe from the Antarctic adventure, the Empire of the Penguin, but these other characters as well to indicate the various heights that people could be. So they're trying to cute it up over at SeaWorld. Speaking of cute, they've recently opened a new version of the Dolphin Nursery. They've always had something called that here, but it didn't used to look like this. It used to just only be able to see from the top. Well, they rebuilt things, and now you can see sort of from the side. In fact, take pictures with the dolphin from the side. Over to the Nautilus Theatre, which was once home to a stunt show, an acrobatics show. Now it's home this summer, at least to Pop, which is a bubble show. And so they've got several versions of this going around the country. It's one Chinese family, actually. Different members of the family come do their amazing bubble displays and then end with a bubble and laser show. It's actually all really very interesting and very kinetic if you're able to go see it. Just outside from that theater, we've got Infinity Falls construction. Now, this is the area which used to be the annual pass holder lounge, and before that it was the Clydesdales. It's all roped off now. They've got these walls up, and as you can see, Infinity Falls is going to be coming in summer 2018. Let's zoom in a little on that, and you'll see this is being advertised as the world's tallest water drop. Of course, it's a raft ride. Inside sources to me have said something about it being perhaps themed to South America. Now, this is on the SeaWorld map, something I wanted to call your attention to. Kraken Unleashed is the new virtual reality version of Kraken VR, and now they've taken away the regular ride. You can only ride it with VR. But what's interesting is that you can use this website to reserve your spot. It's like a free fast pass, and it's only for this one ride at SeaWorld, and this is a new thing. Oh, now this is the other end of SeaWorld. We're looking out towards the orca exhibit over there. This is the former home of the divers, the pearl divers, and they've stopped doing them. Maybe it's entertainment cutbacks, but they've put these glass etchings of a female and a male mermaid, merman, that sort of thing on the diver spots just to sort of give it a little bit of flavor, I guess. Now, near the front of the park, near Seafire, is this brand new bar called the Flamecraft Bar. And as you can see, it's a full-service bar. It has draft beers and some other alcoholic beverages as well. This is probably not new. I just simply haven't been into the exhibit for sharks since Mako has opened. They've got projections on the floor. They've got new exhibits along the walls. It's all very upgraded since Mako, probably since Mako has come. Electric Ocean is the new version of the nighttime orca show. And then after the show is over, you would go next door to the other amphitheater over there, the outdoor amphitheater, and they have sort of a dance party first, and then their laser and fireworks and pyrotechnics display called Ignite. And what you can't see in this picture is that there are these flamethrowers off to both sides. It really envelops you if you're standing on the stage like this. It surrounds you, and it's actually quite a surprising show in that sense. Switching back over to Disney, we're at Disney's Animal Kingdom, and they've debuted a new tractor trailer. So this one is green, as you can see. It's even labeled green at the front, and this one is labeled red at the front. So I'm not sure what they're after with these color schemes and the color names, but I will say that the tractors are a little bit slower off the line than formerly. While we were there, we ran into the new minivan service. This is a little bit like an Uber service that you can take from point to point within the parks. It's $20, and it replaces the bus service that they were having for a little while there. Inside Animal Kingdom, we're on Flight of Passage, the Avatar ride. This pole here is about halfway through the indoor queue, and at the moment it's got nothing on it, which I thought was a bit of a shame, so we'll go backwards in time and look at what was on this pole on opening weekend. So as you can see, it was themed to the Mountain Banshee project, and just to give you a little bit more flavor for what's going on. I hope that sign returns at some point soon. This is another view from a recent weekend later in the queue, just before you make it to the laboratory, actually. You've got that colored ground right there, and there's the line wraps around this side and then over on this side. And as you can see, people have been dropping coins all over the ground here and kind of covering up the effect. And so I thought it would be worthwhile to look back at what it looked like on opening day. And so here's an opening day photo where no one has yet dropped anything into this little glowing area. It's a bit unfortunate that we're probably not going to see that again. More this case dollars, but more coins dropped into a plexiglass area, so over the top of the plexiglass. Back over to DHS. This is the other entrance to DHS. This is the bus entrance. You can see the buses going in on the side here. And what I want to call your attention to is all this construction over on the right. It's a lot of space. Many lanes of traffic could go over here. So I'm guessing what they're going to do is have the buses use this new area and construct a new gate, and then make all of this a bunch more exit, because the exit is a bit of a bottleneck out of DHS right now. We were there for the last day of Disney's Hollywood Studios' signature iconic attraction, Great Movie Ride, and as you can see, there were some crowds that have to wait through the standby in that case. While I was there, I ran into some new merchandise. I don't take pictures of all merchandise for this show, but I do want to highlight things that really catch my eye. So I've seen some of these before, like the train that was down there. Mickey's Fun Wheel was new for me, as was Space Mountain. So these things are devilishly hard to build. I don't know if you've tried, but I thought it's interesting that they're expanding. Something that caught my eye at Epcot, this is the Epcot parking lot, is this one. Disney Springs, available after 4 p.m. It used to be you could not go to and from the theme parks to Disney Springs because they were worried about people taking the trams or the buses and thereby avoiding having to pay for parking. Well, it turns out this is one way only. If you're at the park, you can go to Disney Springs by bus, and then if you want to get back to your hotel, you can take a different bus there. So it really is only valuable for the people staying at the Disney hotels, gives them a way to shop after leaving the theme parks. We were also there for the finale, the very last day of Universe of Energy, or Ellen's Energy Adventure. And as you can see, it was quite crowded with people coming off of completely full loads. This was about 2 hours before the ride was about to shut down forever. And once it did shut down forever, it shut down hard. So you've probably seen on the internet and other places that the final ride of the night, of the final day, was actually an e-stop. The emergency stopped it just seconds after it began. People were filing past the dinosaurs and eventually figured out they should be taking pictures with the dinosaurs, and for that matter, going deeper into the sets while still being respectful of the sets themselves, taking still more pictures, until finally we saw some people even touching the dinosaurs. What a fitting send-off for this attraction. I think the fans who were there really enjoyed that. That just about does it for me for this week. I want to thank you guys for your attention, and I hope to see you again soon. We'll catch you inside those theme parks.